Allow me to tell you a little story about back when I was just a young lad growing up on the French hillside. You know, back in those times, there were no, cell phones or televisions or anything of that sort. What we had to do is that we had to wake up early, 5 o'clock in the morning. We would all set our roosters to crow at that time, and we would get up. I remember me being a young boy, putting on my long johns and running out into the fields. And my father, this is before the whole technology era came. He was actually a garlic bread farmer, and what we had to do is we had to wake up in the morning and we had to go out into the fields, and you would have to travel easily half a mile down this long corridor of corn stalks, and there would be one slender aisle, easily maybe at least 3 feet a yard, in width. Not too many people could go, and if so, it had to be single file, which made it extremely dangerous, because the ears are always listening, so you had to be careful. But after walking about half a mile down this road, we got to this amazing tree. And this tree, I tell you, it was easily one of the most magnificent, works of God you would have ever seen. Beautiful, nice golden crust of a trunk, and it branched up into oregano, parmesan branches, and of course off the branches every spring. And it only bloomed for 2 weeks in spring. Came the garlic bread loaves, and my goodness, I tell you, you probably had garlic bread, like at Olive Garden, the little breadsticks, and you probably had some garlic bread like some fancy restaurants. But I tell you, until you've eaten garlic bread fresh off the branch, you have never had garlic bread so amazing. And I remember my brothers and I would go there with my dad, and he would give us the little wicker baskets and ladders, and he'd be like, "All right, well, go ahead and climb up and let's get us some dinner." And I'd be like, "Okay, Dad," and I'd be climbing, and I'd be having to harvest so much garlic bread, but it was definitely worth it. And then we would take that and we would travel all the way down, this long county road, and we would go into Paris, and we would get a little stand that we had going, Pop is what we called my father. Pop made a wooden sign, and he wrote it all with hand paints and whatnots. And we sold it. We sold the garlic bread there in the field, and big name restaurants would come. And one day I remember the most interesting thing that happened was that one day while we were there at the market, we were selling our sticks to people, and out of nowhere this man comes with a crowd of people surrounding him, and nobody, we had to see who it was. And as the crowd slowly started to part, this man, this one silhouette of a perfect human being walked up to our stand, and Lord behold, it was Christopher Walken. And easily, and my father, Pop admired Christopher Walken, easily his idol. He's seen all of his movies, and I remember, I will never forget the words that Christopher Walken said when he walked up to the stand. He walks up and he looks down, he looks right up at my Pop. He's just like, "You, yeah, you got breadsticks. How much do you offer for the sticks of garlicky toast?" And at that day, my father and Mr. Walken teamed up to create a brand new company, which we now call Westinghouse. And it was through the breadsticks that we learned, and Christopher Walken knew this from the very beginning, and that's that if you take a breadstick and you dissect it at exactly 180 degrees, and you take those two halves and you invert them, it creates free energy. Free energy. And by doing that, my father and Christopher Walken created, you know, the first early advances in technology. Typewriters, you know, the telephone, dialed, you know, with the wine dialer. You know, he'd be like, "Hello, yes, this is Pop Pop. Is Christopher Walken there? Yo." And so it's nice, and you know, I managed to inherit this whole company, and I just wish I could. I'm sorry. I just get a little teary-eyed when I think about this. And you know, I inherited this whole company, and I only wish that I could do the things that Pop Pop and Walken did when they first started out. You know, I feel like I've definitely sustained the level that they were at, but I feel like no matter how hard I try, I can't boost above it. And I think I just need another powerhouse to come in and team up with. I tried contacting Harry Styles of One Direction, but he just, I don't know, he just said my pants weren't tight enough, and I didn't know how to take that. But I tried contacting Selena Gomez, you know, but she's too busy with the Biebs right now. But I think what I need is an older, rugged man like Walken was, and those are hard to come by nowadays. You see, 4 in every 7 men suffer from what we call swagitis. And what this does to the male genome is that it causes so much arrogant testosterone to build up. But it's not the good testosterone, the kind that a man needs. It's almost like, if I could put it anyway, it's like testosterone. It's like estrogen and testosterone put together, and it's like, yeah, they get all cocky and arrogant, but it's all just nothing. It's all for show. And it's sad to see. Really sad to see the young men of this world growing up and doing this and being this and having this happen to them. You know, I pray to God that never happens to my son. So, you know, I did my research on the interwebs, and I saw the number, like the top 3 leading causes of swagitis, and they are was overfunding. It comes from when parents just give their kids too much money with no responsibilities and no sense in earning it. It causes them to feel like, oh yeah, I got the dough for the girls. And you know, it's sad. And I don't understand why this epidemic is hitting us. You know, you don't see this happening anywhere. You don't see this happening in China. You don't see this happening in Guatemala. You don't even see this happening in Iceland. And I tell you one thing, man, in Iceland, them girls cold. But it's only happening in the States and anything that's remotely close to being within the vicinity of the United States, Canada, Mexico, you know, Cuba. This is where this epidemic is happening, and nobody seems to figure out a way to stop it. Well, I'm telling you here, I, CEO of Westinghouse Company, am gonna cure swagitis with the only thing I know, and that's breadsticks.